everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nancy from nancybadija.com, and welcome to another episode of Etsy Shop Critique. Today I'm going to critique the store called Sherry Cerrone. So thank you, Sherry, for letting me do a critique on your beautiful shop. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So the first thing I did was I did an audit on this listing right here that you have. So the first thing I want to talk about as I do my critique is photography. And photography is the number one thing the shoppers consider when making a purchase. It's the first thing they click on before they look at the pricing, before they look at your reviews of your shop, before they look at the shipping costs. The picture is the most important factor for that person to either click on the actual listing to proceed with it or browse through it, see it, and then keep going. So it is important that you use Etsy's features to the fullest. Like, you have to make sure that you use all 10 available spots in each listing. You want to make sure that you are showing your product through different angles. You want to make sure that you have the right size and scale of the item in the photo. You want to use a subtle background that doesn't distract the eye from the actual item. So you want to make sure that you do these things, and you want to spend the necessary time on your photography, because you could have something that's absolutely beautiful that a lot of people would like, but if your photography is not up to par, you're not going to get that click and you're not going to get that sale. So you have to think about it in this sense. Think about the last time you weren't shopping online and you came across a bad photo. So maybe the image was dark, or maybe the image was out of focus. And then you have to wonder, what am I actually getting? Or you might be a little confused on it, or you couldn't figure out how large the product was in real life. This is why you need to, one, include a common object for scale. You could put a coin, or you could put something to so the customer knows, to get an idea of what the size is. Two, use natural light. That way the picture is clear. And also, it's really good to have a picture where you show the item, whether it's being held, worn, or used. And this is going to help you sell it and hopefully get a click to your listing and therefore make a sale. My opinion about your picture, it is a little blurry in my opinion. I feel like I do know it's a necklace that I'm buying, but do I think that the picture could be way better? Yes, I do think. I do think that you should show this picture against a clear, simple background. I feel like the background of this picture is a little bit similar to the necklace, and it kind of blends in and it kind of drowns the item. I feel like you should do a picture with a clear white background. You should have another picture where this one is nice. This one actually is clear, more clear to me than the first one. And I do like that it's zoomed in and I could see the necklace a lot clearer and a lot closer to it. The pictures all look very similar, like the last three. It's just a use of a waste of space. I would just go ahead and redo your pictures and have like the first one that you have like the necklace, and then have one that's zoomed in, have one somebody wearing it, maybe have another one that you have it in your hands, and then maybe have another one where you are showing off like each little feature of it. All of these should be with natural light. You should have very clear picture. They do have something called, I don't know if you've seen one of these, they're called light box. And a light box, you could put anything inside of it. It's like this. And you could take a picture and it lights it up in the inside. And then your picture comes out really nice, no distraction, with a nice crispy white background. And that's what you want, technically. And they have the light boxes that have the hole, like this one has it, the opening there, that has the hole in the top as well. So you could take a picture looking down, or you could take a picture looking inside the box. and it does make your picture look a lot nicer, crispy, with a clear white background, and that's the way that your picture should be showcased. Um, as at the moment, I feel like you can work on your pictures. I feel like that um, it's not bad looking. It's pretty, but it's just that I feel like it could be a little bit better. At the end of the day, what you want to do is increase your sales. So you want to focus on those pictures. Now, I do like the fact that you do have a cohesive look. And what I mean by that is that when I look at your shop, everything goes together. Like all the pictures have the same similar background. And that's actually nice because a lot of times you go to a store and they don't have a cohesive look, so like the colors, they'll have different backgrounds, and then it doesn't look like it's coming from the same shop. So I do like that, and that's good branding. However, I do feel like your picture can be better, and I feel like you could improve in taking better pictures to upload. What you also could do is you could run a test, because this is just my opinion, right? You could run a test. It's called Waterfy. And this company, you could do a free test, which is 30 days for free. You don't have to pay anything. After that, if you want to pay, they charge anywhere from like 5 to 30, but they work on the budget. They work on how many sales you make, so it won't break your bank if you do decide to sign up for the program. But what Waterfy does is that it takes the first and second picture of your listing, and it swaps the picture throughout 30-day process. So one day you'll see the main picture, and the next day you'll see like the second picture as the main picture. So it keeps swapping the picture back and forth, back and forth. And what it does is that it gathers information for you, and within 30 days, it tells you between these two pictures for this listing, this one got you more clicks and this one got you more sales. And that's how you could do a picture of, maybe you want to leave this one here because you like it with the wood, and maybe do the second picture with a white clear background, and then you test it out, and then you are able to see what got you more clicks and what got you more sales. And that's going to be a really good point for you, because then you could analyze it and say, wow, I didn't know that having a clear background will make such a drastic change. I have a client that used Waterfy for the month of July, well, for June, and then she switched it up for July, and she made over $300 more than her usual. And she makes like a steady income. So for her to increase $300 more was a lot for her. So it does work. I'm doing mine. I'm in the process of doing mine now. So I haven't finished my 30 days yet. But I do recommend doing something like that, because it's going to show you what people are more attractive to and what enticed them to click on versus what didn't. And that's going to give you more information about your Etsy. And at the end of the day, you do want to measure your success. You want to measure everything, because the more you know about your shop, the more you understand what people will click on, the more sales you will make ultimately. So I do recommend working on your photos, and I do recommend using that software, since it's a 30-day free and you don't pay anything for it. So you're not losing nothing on it. The second thing I wanted to go into is your SEO, right? Getting found. So when people search things online, they use descriptive words to find what they're looking for. So if I'm looking for a blue lamp, I would say blue small table lamp. um, and using those keywords and being very granular. You can't be too broad, because if you were to put something that is like, I don't know, necklace, that's too broad. Too many searches, too many people are using that. So you have to get very specific with what you're selling. And the tool that I use, and I'll leave a link below, is called Rank. If you're not currently using it, I highly recommend for you to sign up. It's free. You don't pay anything for it. They do have the pro one if you want to upgrade. I use the free one and it works extremely fine. And with Rank, you could go ahead and plug in your store, and you could do SEO research. You could do keywords, obviously, research. You could do just pretty much everything. You could see what categories are doing well, what's performing well, things that are trending. You could see how your store is trending. It's so much information you could gather from your store. So it's a really nice tool to have. And as you could see, you got all the keywords here that we're currently using are very high in competition. That means that too many people are using the same keyword. So therefore, if you wanted to rank organically for that keyword, it's going to be extremely hard because there's a lot of other people competing for the same keyword. So therefore, you're not going to show up organically in the search results. If you were to run a Xe ad, or if you were to run a separate ad like a PPC ad or a Facebook ad, your cost per click will be very high because there's so many people bidding for that same keyword. So one of your keywords is minimalist necklace. And as you can see, 193 other people are using it. So that would not be a good keyword to have because you're competing with so many other people. So you want to redo your tags. Definitely, you want to go in there and be more specific. You know, you could also do this. So this is minimalist necklace, right? And your necklace is kind of rose. So you could put rose minimalist necklace search. Your right now what you're doing is you're being more descriptive. And you see how it dropped to 16,000? That's better. It's not a good keyword still because there's so much competition, but at least it went down. So you kind of have to play with it. It can get a little tedious, and you are in a niche that's very competitive. Jewelry is like really, really hard, and I'm in a niche that's competitive. So I understand that it can be somewhat disappointing or hard to find keywords. But if you do the grunt work beforehand and you search and search and search, you will find some. You just gotta you just gotta think about how people search for keywords. You have to think about maybe adding the color or adding something specific about that necklace that makes it more unique, and then adding that to the keyword search to see if you find potential keywords. So you just have to keep playing with it. What you want to do as well is that you could come up here, and this is rank, and you could take that same keyword and you could put it on get keyword ideas. And this is going to pull a lot of keywords. Majority of them are going to probably be high rank, and that's only because you are in a competitive niche, but at least give you some idea of what keywords to use. So for instance, as you can see, all of these are very competitive. So as of now, there's so many stores using these keywords. I mean, 50,000 plus listings. That's crazy. So you gotta keep searching in here. Um, so another thing you want to look at is that if you're looking at a medium competition, that's fine. I would try to stick with the competition of having less than 6,000 listings. So if you see a word that's medium competition but has like 8,000 listings, it will be really hard also to rank for that. So I would try to stick with the ones that are 6,000 or less. That way you have some potential of ranking organically. And then if you run ads, then you'll be in the first page of Xe for the majority of the time. So it kind of increases your chances of that. But a lot of the keywords, they're not coming back. You see how I'm having a difficult time finding with the one that you chose. But you just gotta keep playing here. You gotta, sometimes remove this one and then just look for rose necklace. And then keep doing that and keep doing that. And when you find keywords, either on a notepad or on your computer notepad, start writing down what you find. Maybe put a little note next to it that this is how many other people are using that keyword. So this is really cute. This one might work for you, real rose necklace. Now, some might not make sense either, so you have to be really careful that just because you found a keyword that's low doesn't necessarily mean that you should use it, because sometimes if it doesn't flow right, it doesn't sound right, then I wouldn't use it. This one is actually a good one. I don't know if you have a rose necklace, but if you have a golden rose necklace, see how the competition is low? That would be a good keyword to put. But you have to keep doing this. I know it can be a little tedious, but you just have to keep doing it. You have to change the wording around. You could do, necklace for mom or necklace for sister, things like that, and just keep doing that. If you had a rosebud necklace, I don't know if you have one of those, that's a good keyword. If you have a gray rose necklace, that's a good keyword. So just, you know, this also gives you ideas of what you could potentially sell in the future in your Etsy shop as well. And just keep playing with it. And when you least suspect it, um, you'll start finding keywords that you could use for your Etsy shop. So let's say you did the research, right? You went on Etsy rank, you spent time, you got the keyword down. So now what you want to do is that you want to put all your keywords in the title, and you did a really good job with that as it is. So you keep doing the same thing. You want to put the most important keywords in the front of your title, and so the ones that are in low competition, that will be the green ones. You put them in the front, and the ones that are medium competition, you put them at the end of the title. You want to obviously try to fit in as many as you can, and then you want to make sure that you put the keywords in your listing description. You want to make sure you have it in the first 160 characters, because this will be the meta description that pops up in Google. So when somebody searches your listing, right, and they put, let's say they put in Google rose gold necklace, and you did rank for that keyword, this is what they're seeing. You see, this is like the little description that you currently have right here. So you want to make sure that your keyword is on, this keyword is here, and then it's also here. The same exact, write it exactly the same way. You want to make sure you have it here. And that's SEO 101. You want to have it on your title. You want to have it on your meta description, which is this section here. And you also want to have it throughout your listing description. You should be using the other tags for wording. And this will help you increase your SEO, increase your traffic to your store, and hopefully land you more sales, that's why SEO is so important. In the future, I do recommend to always do SEO research before creating a new product, to make sure that product is not too competitive and that there's room to make money from it. Make sure that with the keywords, like I said, make sure you put them in your title. Make sure you put them in the first 160 characters of your listing description. Make sure you sprinkle additional keywords throughout your listing description, and make sure that you are using all 13 tags, and you're putting the strongest keywords at the front of the item in the title section. And then make sure that, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, that you're using all 13 here. You did do the right category. I already checked that. If you ever have an item and you're not 100% sure if you placed it in the right category, if you go to Etsy rank and you go to category tool, you could put in necklace and it would tell you where it should go. So that's a really nice feature, especially when you're selling something very unique or different that you don't know where to put it at. So now that you did your pictures, you updated your pictures, now you have your SEO done. The next thing will be your listing description. In my opinion, listing descriptions are the way you convince a potential buyer to purchase your item, as well as attract new buyers from Google, right? And you want to make sure that the listing description, you are basically describing precisely what you're selling. And you want to be very detailed as possible. You're trying to attract and appeal to buyers, so you want to make sure that you pretty much address any question they might have. So a well written listing description is what you need to kind of like make first impression and encourage your buyer to hit the buy button. And it also helps with less questions. I mean, there are people out there that don't read, but if there are people that do actually, and if you have it all here, it will minimize them sending you a message to ask you about something that you sell in your shop. Make sure that you describe everything in here, that you spend the time to do it. I do believe that you did a really good job with it. The only thing that I would recommend is that you list the shipping policy, the return policy, if you have any, and also at the end of this page. Well, you did it here, so that's good. You have your visit my shop homepage. I usually put this at the bottom, and the only reason why I do that is because normally when they're done reading, I don't want them to click the back button and leave the page. So I rather put the link there so they could just click there and stay longer in my Etsy page. So therefore, it does increase the chances of me getting um, more sales at the end of the day. You did do a good job at describing it. Um, you do have like a backlink to your necklaces. If you have any matching items that go with that necklace, do the same thing. You can always put click here to view matching items. As you might know, Etsy does not allow you to add links that is not Etsy links in the listing description. That's why this becomes a hyperlink, and this one is not a hyperlink, which means this one you could click on and this one you can't. You could still leave it there, but I did want to address that just in case. And I will put this more in the beginning because this is kind of like a description of why somebody might want to buy that stone and the color. I would put that up here. That should be like the first thing, like the description of what they're buying. I will rearrange your listing description a little better to the sense of enticing um, enticing paragraph of what they're buying, which you did a good job with that. Listing description of what they're getting, links to whatever you have this matching like you did, link to the homepage, and then also at the bottom maybe refund and shipping policy. That way there's no confusion later on. So let's move on now to the curation of your shop. And curating the shop is basically, do you offer a diverse selection of products? And I do believe you do because you have different pricings. You have 12 and 32 and 27 and 30. So you do have different pricing. And you want to make sure that, your About Me section is completed. And I think you did an extremely really good job with it. You have your little story about yourself. That's amazing because people could connect with you and they could show sympathy and connect and say, "Oh, I want to buy from this person." So it's always important um, to showcase a little bit about yourself and how you got started. I like the fact that you have pictures of the different trade shows that you have done. That's amazing as well. That's always great to showcase. A lot of people, when they post, they always post like pictures about their products, but they forget to put stuff about themselves. And that's important because at the end of the day, your store is named by your name. So you are the brand. So you should always represent yourself. So these are really, really great. It's great that you're wearing your actual, I want to say this is one of your pieces. Your actual pieces is beautiful and that you have an About Me. I like that you connected all your social media right here. I like that you have a picture of you working in the office there. I like that you have your picture here with your child. That's beautiful because people ask me as a new mom, I could connect with you. And I could be like, oh, she's a mom and I do like to shop and I like her stuff. Let me buy from her. So some people like myself are emotional buyers. We buy just because we buy. We weren't really looking for this item, but we saw it and we love the picture and we're like, oh, I need it. I want to get it. And you just buy it. So a lot of people are emotional buyers. And I'm one, I'm one of those as well. Another thing is dressing up your storefront. I think you did a good job with the timeline, connecting it with what you sell and the profile picture. However, I will say, I don't know if it's my computer, and it could be, so I apologize. It looks like it's a little blurry. It doesn't look clear. If that's the case, I would just redo it. I will also have a link below in my text box. There's a company called Fiverr where you could buy banners for as low as $5, and people can make professional banners that are amazing. If you look at the most, those stores that make a lot of money, those most prominent shops, right? They have amazing cover photos on their shop homepage, and that's what you want to that's what you want to do. And they even, like those shops, what they do with their branding is that they even provide their social media links and website on the actual banner. There's a lot of people that won't go down here, right, and click here because they don't know this is here. they might stop and read up to here. So it's just a nicer way to just add your links here on your timeline and make them more visible. Um, you know, not overlooking the small things, like taking the time to fill out your About Me page, which you did, your story, which you did, making sure that you have a tagline, which you have it there, making sure that you don't overlook little things and you treat Etsy like a real business. That's the number one thing. A lot of people feel that because it's an online store, it's not real, and they don't take the necessary time and the grunt work to fill every little thing. And you should, because you should treat it like a real business, because you can make a lot of money with it as well, and it is a real business. So you've done a really good job. I would just tweak the timeline. If this, make sure that this is not blurry. I will add like maybe your hours of operation, your website, your links to your social media. I would make this one a little bit different than this one, just so you could have, like, you want it to be cohesive, right? Like they go together, but it's nice to have one timeline of maybe different background colors, and then this one to look like that. But just make sure that it does look a little bit different, in my opinion. Another thing is that I noticed that you have up here Magical Moon Jewelry by Sherry, but you name your shop by Sherry. So in the future, what I would do is name your shop Magical Moon Jewelry. Unless that was taken and you couldn't do it, I totally understand. Now, with the XC Plus program that they have now, you could actually change the XC. So instead of being www.xc.com Sherry Cerrone, you could actually name your shop sherrycerrone.com. So with XC Plus, your name might be available, and you could do magicalmoonjewelry.com and remove the whole XC. So that's just so you could think about it in case you want to do that. Another thing, and this is not necessarily that you have to do this, I do this. You could turn off the sales section. The reason why I do that is because I don't want other people to spy on me or competitors to see what are my top sales, because they could come through here and kind of look through your items and see which items sold the most. And then they could take that item, right? And they could go and start copying you or create something very similar. So I normally would turn off my sales. It's up to you if you want to do that. It's not necessarily that you have to. It's just my choice. Now, do I go and spy on other people? Yes, I do. I'll be completely honest. I do go and I do the same thing. I go through the sales and kind of see what they're selling, what are their popular items, and kind of see if I could maybe come up with something like that or more inspiring. And it obviously not copy, but inspire me to create something better and more unique, or something that comes with additional sets so I could stand out. So that would be my only other suggestion. Make sure that your pricing accounts for the cost of materials that you went into making the item. Does your price cover your material, your labor, your profits after fees? Your prices are a little bit on the lower end from other shops that I've seen, but you want to make sure that you don't reduce your price because you're not. They say you're not making the sales that you initially want. Don't just reduce the prices either, because you do want to make a profit from it. And if you're not making any profit from it because you're lowering them too low, don't do that. So that was just something that I noticed when I was looking at other shops that had jewelry, that your prices were very cheap, and not in a bad way, in an actually really good way. So for people that buy, your jewelry cost, I don't think is expensive at all. It's actually a really nice price. Now, at the end of the day, after you do all these items, you change all the things that you feel like are significant. Hopefully, the SEO and the pictures you would take in consideration. When you do all that, you want to make sure that you pay attention to key performance indicators. So, XC does provide you with XC stats, right? To resources to help you have a thriving business. So it's important that you measure and analyze your store on a quarterly basis, if not every month. I try to do it every month on my shops. And you need to review your metrics, how many sales you got, what people are liking, your conversion rates, and this is gonna give you insights of your store and what is working, what is not working, what needs to be changed. You cannot, just keep in mind, you cannot grow your Etsy shop if you are not examining your Etsy metrics. And if you don't have a clear understanding of what items sell the most in your store. A great way to increase your sales is taking all the items that you sell the most and then making a robust line around those items. So if this bracelet is the one that you sell the most, making matching earrings, matching necklace, matching, I don't know, whatever else that you could make. I can't even think right now. I'm sorry. Anything else that you can make in jewelry, making anything that matches and focusing time on that actual listing versus adding more stuff, not doing the grunt work of doing research first and not making any money and just having more fees to pay every 4 months for items that are getting renewed, but then you're not making any sales from. And the lastly was customer service. I do believe that you have a really good customer service because you don't have no bad reviews. So that's a really good thing. So I don't really think I need to give you any tips on customer service. You're absolutely, obviously doing a good job. People are responding to it really well and they're leaving you a review. Don't feel bad if you only got 17 reviews for some reason. People don't leave reviews. They only leave reviews either if they're upset or occasionally you get someone that actually is nice enough to leave you a review. What I would do is on every order, encourage your buyer to leave you a review. Maybe you could give them 10% on their next purchase for an exchange of a review. Do something, but just do it because it's going to be beneficial for you as also. And lastly, what I would recommend because you are ultimately trying to expand your business and make more money is to have a newsletter. There's a company called, let me go to my blog because I'm about to start doing it with them and I haven't done it for my shop. And I can't remember the name. I want to say is, let me go to it. I did actually blog on it. It's called Newsletter something. I'm sorry. I should have had this on earlier already out for you guys. Right here. It's called Handmade Newsletter. And I will leave the link below. And Handmade Newsletter basically lets you build an Etsy mailing list um, without having a website or blog. Now, if you have one already, a website or a blog, then excellent because you could link it to there. But if you don't, this is a really cool way to do it. To collect emails from your customers. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to take the emails automatically and add them to the newsletter. But if the customer does sign up for it, then that's fine, and you and your shop won't get in trouble for that. But you're not supposed to add them automatically yourself. But this is really nice because they provide you with a landing page that automatically pulls in your Etsy branding. So they won't feel like they're leaving Etsy or they won't feel like, okay, where am I going now by clicking here? It will have your store, like your banner. It will have your name and then it will be like submit here to sign up and they sign up. So it's just a nice way because it's harder to retain your customers, but it's easier to keep the ones that you have. But if you never collect those emails later on, you can't send a promotion or whenever you have a special, if you add in new items to the store, you won't be able to go ahead and do that. So I highly recommend having that program because it will help you with it. These are my suggestions. Now I'm going to move on to your social media. So I have your Twitter page. Great job at using branding, right? Putting the same cover, putting the same profile picture. Once again, it does look blurry. You have to pay attention to little details. I know it's a lot of work on Etsy because there's so many things you got to pay attention to, but it's important because um, if someone doesn't know what they're looking at here, they might not be interested in even following you or clicking. Another thing is pictures that when you tweet, anything that has a picture will always get more engagement. Always do that. Every time you tweet, like this one and like this one, have a picture. You are gonna get more engagement by having a picture than when you don't have anything. Um, Also, you're doing a good job with the keywords. Adding keywords. Make sure that you also research keywords as well, because if you use hashtags that are oversaturating, sometimes they're also hard for people for that picture or that posting that you're doing on that tweet that you're putting, for people to get engagement, for you to get any engagement or traction on it, because there's so many other people using it. So by the time you tweet, it goes on the bottom feed because it's like 10 other people that tweet it with the same hashtag. So it's almost the same, like almost the same like SEO. um but yeah, I mean, once you change this and you make it more clear, or if you change the banner in your shop and then you change it here, essentially you're doing branding. It's just that it doesn't look good because it is not clear. So you have to change that for sure. Good job at connecting your SG shop. It's a good thing that you at least have a Twitter account. You need to with Twitter or any social media platform. The reason they call it social media is because you have to be social, and that means that you have to go in there and tweet every day. You have to be active. You have to like other people's posts, and that's how social media works. Even if you do like, even if you did like let's say 20 minutes a day on social media for all your accounts, is better than nothing. I see the last time you tweeted was July 1st. So that would be the number one thing you got to work on, is getting on a schedule that you are posting on a regular basis. And it's not just posting your shop, but it's posting about yourself. Posting about, oh, follow us, follow Friday, hashtag follow Friday. Here are my links to my Facebook account, and kind of cross promoting your social medias on other channels. But you definitely have to post on a regular basis. For Instagram, I do think that you are, it looks pretty. What I would say is have a cohesive look. Make sure that everything flows together. Make sure that this picture goes with that one and that one goes with that one. That has a nice flow. A lot of these pictures, like that one, is cut off. I don't know if you retweeted this from someone else. Um, just make sure that any pictures that you retweet, that you have the right to retweet. That is because if not, it's almost like taking a picture from Google. You're not supposed to do that. So it's the same thing with retweeting. Make sure that with Instagram, you could give credit for where it came from. But if they stole that picture from someone else, essentially they could tell you to put it down and then tell the other person to put it down as well. I will have more of a cohesive look. Make sure that everything you put on Etsy is Etsy related. I'm not sure if how this relates to your Etsy. However, what I would do is always have, if it's funny, it's fine, you know. You could do that. Because this I could relate to, and this is related to you as a parent, related to you being as a business owner, having to do so much as a woman, right? Like we have to do so much as it is. But make sure that everything's cohesive, everything goes together. For instance, you'll see my Instagram account. If you go back like a year ago, you see like I was all over the place with trying different things and nothing was working. And I stuck with this color scheme, and I tried to make everything go together. And when I put a picture of my son, I always try to for it to match my theme and my colors, and that's what you want to focus on. And if you don't have images or are not sure or where to get images, there's this company called Style Stock Society, and I will leave the link below, that you could find beautiful images. And these images are for entrepreneurs like me and you, and that's what I use for my account to make a nicer looking account, because I don't have time to take pictures or professional pictures, and this actually helps me achieve a really nice look to my account. Um, but yeah, I will work on that. Work on having a cohesive look. Work on your logo. It's very unclear right here. You see, it doesn't look clear. Maybe it's not sized correctly. It's getting cut off. I will redo this again. You do have your Etsy shop, which is good here. You do have a tagline, which is good. You can also use this thing called Linktree. I'll leave it below as well. And this is how it looks. You click on the link and you could put different pages. So you could have one for your blog, Pinterest, Facebook, Etsy, and so on. So that way you could have multiple, you could send traffic to multiple destinations. So I would add that. And then when you post, you're doing a good job with your caption. What I would do is separate your hashtags, and you could do this is what I do. When I do a post, I put dot 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 dot, and I put my hashtags on the bottom. I used to put my hashtags on the comment section, but with the new Google algorithm, they don't want you to do it there. They want the hashtags in the actual caption. So this way I could separate it and it looks nicer and people could actually read and it doesn't look like a big old paragraph or hard to read. I would focus on doing that from here on. That way it could be nicer to read. I will post on a regular basis. You haven't done it since July 1st again. So you need to do that. Anytime somebody takes time to respond, always respond back. Anytime somebody gives you a like or they leave a comment, take the time to do that because they didn't have to. And that's how you grow your business and people feel that's how you grow engagement in your page. The more engagement you have on the actual post, the chances of you ranking on top posts increases. So I don't know if you ever seen this. When you go to a hashtag, you have these that are called top posts and you have recent posts. So top posts are posts that get a lot of engagement. So a lot of likes and a lot of engagement. So the more you engage back to customers or people that like your photos, the more chances you will be ranked up here. And this is where you want to be. Because if you get up here, you stay there longer. Therefore, you drive more traffic to your shop. So therefore, you drive, hopefully, increase your sales as well on top of that. So you want to do stuff like that, that engage with the people that are following you. And let's go to, I believe you had Pinterest as well. So Pinterest, I clicked on the Pinterest one and it's not working for me. Pinterest, I absolutely love. Yeah, it's not working for me. I actually did a case study on Pinterest and I did for the last, so right now I'm at 245. It just hasn't updated here. But with Pinterest, what I did in 90 days, I went from barely getting, I think it was like 3,000 monthly views, and now I'm at 238,000. For the month of July, I got over 900 clicks to my Etsy shop from Pinterest by simply pinning every single day. I have a video on it on YouTube. I highly recommend watching it. Out of all the social media platforms, Pinterest is, in my opinion, the best one for Etsy and Instagram. Facebook, I use it like everybody else because people, the first thing they do when they look for a business, either they Google or they go to Facebook to look for a business. However, I don't waste too much time on Facebook in the sense of trying to like get people to like your page because it's really hard. Facebook only shows your page to 10% of your followers. So what I would recommend, if you spend money on Facebook, is worth it. If you're just posting every day, just post and keep going. Make sure that you post every single day as well. Make sure that you have a caption. Make sure you have a call to action. Every page, everything you post should say, click below to learn more. Click below to shop today. Click below to follow me. Click below to sign up. Whatever it is, make sure you do that because that's a call to action. You're telling the customer what to do. Another thing you could do is for Facebook Messenger, you could put a automatic respond. So when somebody messages your store, if you didn't see it or you're busy, you could put, "Hey, thank you for reaching out. We will get back to you as soon as possible." For the meanwhile, please head over to my shop to my Etsy shop to browse my store, and that way customers know that you're gonna get back to them. But I will work on one, a call to action, two, posting regularly, and three, if you have the funds, increase your Facebook likes. So you could do a Facebook campaign where you could find targeted customers. And how you find targeted customers, you could go to your Etsy stats and you could see what people, where they're coming from, like your buyers. Is it male or female? What ages? And then you could plug that in your demographics and target the ideal audience for you that actually buy your products versus just doing any type of targeting. And now you don't have basically you're just targeting to anyone and spending more money that on people that are not even interested in buying a necklace of the necklaces that you sell. You could also, you have your Etsy shop here, so that's amazing. A lot of people don't know about that, so you do have yours set up. That's really good. You could also set up your Instagram here. I don't know if you knew that. You could do your Pinterest and you could do your Twitter. I actually have a video, I believe, on the Instagram. If I don't, I'll check today. If not, I'll probably do one this week to kind of have it up. But you could do one of each page, of each social media, and kind of have everything together. You do want to do that because a lot of times people will maybe follow you on Twitter that doesn't necessarily follow you on Pinterest, and vice versa. But yeah, make sure you update that. Make sure that your logo is updated as well. This one doesn't look too bad here, but because you will be changing all of them, if you do change it to something else, make sure that all your platforms all across have the same logo and the same banner in the background. I hope that this Etsy critique was useful and something came out of it and that you learned something new. I really do appreciate you taking the time to let me do a review of your shop. Guys, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys are interested in buying any jewelry, I will leave the link below as well. She does have some beautiful pieces. And thank you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful day.